settlement as opposed to a road.
So changing the subject a little bit,
Sure.
what is Together We Read?
Okay, Together We Read is a program which is some version of it is they have nationally, which that everybody in Western North Carolina should read the same book, let's say over the summer. And then there are programs about the particular book. And this year, the book was on Agate Hill by Lee Smith, just to give you an example. And my contribution is to run a hike, it's always hike related, to run a hike dealing with the book. And I've been with the program several years, and there is always a good hike, because after all, most of it does happen in Western North Carolina.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some more of these conservation efforts. How about the Chimney Rock Park legislation and how that came together?
Well, we are delighted that Chimney Park, well, right now as we speak, Chimney Park is Chimney Rock State Park. And it was a private park for many, many years. And it went down through the generations, and this current generation of owners decided that they wanted to get out of the business and they wanted to sell Chimney Rock. And they first advertised it to developers. And it is such an icon of North Carolina. You know, this is a state park, so it's North Carolina. It is such an icon, that big, tall chimney, big, short Chimney Rock. And that the public really was upset that we wanted the state to take it over. And we wanted the state to take it over now, not the way DuPont State Forest came about. And our state government, Governor Easley, came through. And our state people bought the land and became a state park.
So what are some of the differences between the way that the DuPont State Forest came together and then the way that this has come together?
Well, DuPont State Forest was sold to developers first. And that meant that several of the best waterfalls that I talk about, would have been private, would have been in the housing complex. And people got upset after the builder started building. And you can go to DuPont right now and see what I call brand new old houses, because there were houses that were going to be both individual houses and clubhouses and a lake for this development. And then because people were so upset, the state condemned the land and had to buy it from the developer at 4 times what they would have had to pay for it the first place before it became a state forest. Here, the state was proactive.
So how in tune would you say Governor Easley is with the concerns and issues that matter to Western North Carolinians?
Well, we are absolutely delighted with him. By the way, he was also the force behind DuPont State Forest, not as a governor, but as Attorney General. So I think he does understand the importance of a state public land.
Now let's see, let's talk a little bit about the Elkmont DEIS. What exactly is the Elkmont DEIS?
Okay, well, DEIS stands for Draft Environmental Impact Statement. And Elkmont is on the Tennessee side of the Smokies. And it's a set of houses that were built starting in the early 1900s that you can just see and walk through. They're falling apart though. And they were vacation houses for rich Knoxvillians to spend the summer there. And the question is, should we get rid of all of these houses? Are they historically important? They were private houses. There was an Appalachian club, basically like a country club. And because of the fact that they were leasing these houses to their kids and to their grandkids, the last owner didn't leave until June of 2001. And you can go there, and there's a regular campground, Elkmont Campground, and you could have seen the lights of these people still living there. So the last people left in 2001, and then the question became, what do we do with them? Now the state, the Historical Society wanted to keep all of them and open them up as rentals. That wasn't going to fly. Some people wanted to get rid of all of them completely. So the park came up with a compromise decision that kept some of them. But it's still a draft environmental impact statement. The public still has the chance to chime in on what to do with them. And that'll happen when the final EIS comes out. And if what the park proposed stays, they will have to rehabilitate the houses that they decided ought to stay.
Now, one of the issues that we hear a lot about surrounding the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is whether it's going to be a fee entrance park or not. What's the status of that right now?
Okay. I believe that the Great Smokies National Park is one of the few, maybe the only traditional park that does not have an entrance fee. And the reason is, back when it was created in 1934, it was created from land that either people individually owned or logging companies owned. And it's not the federal government that bought the land, it was the two states, Tennessee and North Carolina. And the people said, okay, you want a park, we want to make sure that it's for the people. And part of buying it was agreeing that there shall never be an entrance fee. So that's where it stands. Can that be broken? I'm sure some lawyer can figure out how to do it. But the problem now is there are over 16 entrances into the park, though there's only 3 main ones. And are you going to station ticket booths in all of these entrances? So we do hope that the park will never have an entrance fee.
How does the Park Service feel about that issue? Is that their stance on it?
I'm not sure that they have an official stance on it. I'm not sure that they really want to have an entrance fee. As you know, it is the most visited park in the country. But before people get upset that it's too crowded, as one that has done a lot of the trails in the Smokies, many more than I have in this book, let me tell you, it's only the roads that are crowded and the visitor centers. And that's true in hiking in general. You get 2 miles off the trail and you see very few people.
Well, if you're just tuning in, our guest is Dani Bernstein, and she's the author of Hiking the Carolina Mountains, which is published with Milestone Press. If you're interested in purchasing the book, you can visit her website, hikertohiker.com, as well as Milestone Press. You can purchase it from there. It's available at REI, I think you said.
It's available at many outfitters. It's available at your independent bookstores, and of course on Amazon.
Well, let's talk a little bit about marketing and promotion for the book online. How has the website, hikertohiker.com, been a factor in marketing the book?
Well, you found me, so that's really good. It's also a very good way of telling people, it gives you legitimacy. And it's not, website is not just about publishing the book, because I had it way before I had the book. It's also has a lot of information about hikes, hiking etiquette, conservation issues. It's basically one of the ways that I have of talking about hiking in the Southern Appalachians.
Now, a lot of our viewers who watch the show are interested in how to get to the point where they're writing a book like this, a nonfiction book. And now you started out as a professor, and then you actually wrote some articles as well. You've published a number of articles. Right. Tell us about some of the articles that led up to your saying, hey, I want to write a book about hiking.
Well, in Asheville, and I know in Raleigh also, there are many free papers, many independent papers, and they would love to have you write for free articles about something that you know. So I approached one of the papers when I first started thinking about this, and I said I'd like to do a monthly hiking column, and they said wonderful. So I did. For about 3 years I wrote for free, and I was getting a lot of publicity. And then I sort of moved up in the world. I moved up to the Mountain Express, which is a main alternative weekly. And there was an outdoor column, of which I am one. I do the hiking column, and I write a column once a month. and I don't get paid very much, but again, it really gives me a forum. And so the Mountain Express is sort of like my regular gig, but then I write for Blue Ridge Outdoors, in other regional papers, and I sort of specialize. I only write about the outdoors in the Southern Appalachians. And I suggest that if people want to write this kind of nonfiction, that they have a specialty.